everybody. It's great to be back with you. My name is Kathleen Collins and I'm a violinist in the Cleveland Orchestra. Welcome to another really fun lesson in my series, Music and Our Senses. Today we are going to learn another cool thing about music, and we're going to learn a little bit more about what this instrument, the violin, can do as well. I want to start off by playing a little selection for you. You'll probably recognize the tune if you've been with me the last couple of times. And this time I'd like you to use your imagination, especially your imagination, but also your eyes and your ears, of course, and try to see if you can imagine in this next little selection of music what kind of character the music might be portraying. What did you think? Did it sound like a big and large kind of character, or did it sound like something a little bit smaller and sweeter and gentler? Well, there's no right or wrong answers, but sometimes the music can lead you to one particular answer or another, depending on the register that the music is being played in. So that is our key word today, register. So what does register in music mean? Well, if you've been with me the last couple of times, you'll know that I'm not going to tell you exactly what that means right now. What I'd like to do is play two different musical selections for you. They're going to be in two different registers, contrasting registers. It's not the same tune, but I'm going to try to keep the dynamics and the tempo about the same. The difference is going to be what register these two selections are being played in. So here's the first little musical excerpt. Now here is our second musical excerpt. Did you notice the big contrast? Yeah, the dynamics were about the same and the tempo was pretty much the same too in these excerpts. The difference was the place on the violin in which the music was being played. So if you tried to sing the very first note of the very first excerpt that I played, try to sing the first few notes with me. Kind of feel what your voice has to do to match those notes. Now, see if you can match the notes, the very first notes of the second musical excerpt that I played. Did you notice what your voice had to do? You might have noticed that the first time you had to go really down low like this to try to match that note. And the second time, you probably had to sing really up here. So that's what register is. It's all about whether the music is played really down low, the lower areas of the instrument or in the lower range of the voice if it's a singer, or if the music is up higher in a higher range of pitch. So it's really interesting. You can not only hear that on the violin, but you can see it as well. So I'm going to show you what string. If you remember, on the violin, we have 4 different strings. There's a low one, and there's 2 middle ones, and a high one. And if you look closely, you'll see that the low one down here is very thick, and the high one is really skinny, right like that. And the ones in between are sort of middle of the road. Well, it turns out that the pitches that we play, the low ones are most of the time played on the very lowest, fattest string, on the G string. So we can go down here on the G string. That's a low sound. But in order to play a much higher sound, all we really have to do is jump across to the skinny string. And all of a sudden, that's a much higher pitch. To even get higher notes, we just move our hand, our left hand, violin hand, on up, all the way up here. And we can get some very, very high squeaky notes on that skinny string. So if you use your eyes as well as your ears when you're watching a string instrument play, you can figure out pretty easily whether that's going to be low sounds or high sounds. So you have to watch both the bow, which string we're playing on, and the left hand. If it's way up here, it's probably going to be pretty high. So sometimes we have to test ourselves a little bit to be able to figure out what's low and what's high. Let me play a couple of pitches for you and see if you can tell me which one is the highest one. So there's going to be 2 sounds. You tell me which one is higher, the first one or the second one. And heads up and ears open and eyes open, because not only will your ears be able to help you, but also your eyes. Remember what I told you. If it's a low note, it's going to be over on the fat string. If it's a high note, you'll probably see my hand go up here, and it'll be way up on the skinny string. Okay, so here are my 2 notes. Which one sounded higher? Okay, let's try another one. Remember, use both your eyes and your ears to help you out. Here's my first one. And here's my second one. Did you figure that one out? That's pretty cool. Now, I'm going to play kind of a more challenging one. I'll play you 2 notes that are more on the middle strings, and see if you can figure out which note is higher. So this time you're going to have to really pay attention with your ears especially, but also watch with your eyes and see if you can get it. So first one. Could you figure that one out? That's a little harder because it's more in the middle range. On that last one, the very first pitch was lower and the second pitch was higher. Good job paying attention. Now, if you think that the same tune would sound pretty much the same if I played it down low and if I played it down high, I'm going to end this little session today by playing the same tune that I played at the very beginning today. I'm going to play it the way I played it, the way it really is in music first. And then I'm going to play it much higher up in the next register and see if you can think to yourself if it sounds like a very, very different character the second time around. All right, here we go. different, don't you think? Well, that's the whole difference that musical register can make. The composers use this all the time when they're trying to depict certain moods and certain characters in music. So terrific! I'm glad you enjoyed this lesson. We'll see you again next time. Bye!